Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Bursa Malaysia and managed by our company LifeChamp. We are very excited to see all of you here today. The topic of our session today is the 4 pillars of wealth creation, a balanced approach of every stage of life. All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Shane Chu. I'm the moderator for this session. Now, building lasting wealth is something that we all aspire to, but where do you even start? Now, every stage of our life throws different challenges and opportunities in our way. So what works when we are just starting out might not make sense later, and knowing how do we adjust our approach is where the real magic happens. So today in this webinar, we're going to talk about what are the 4 pillars of wealth creation, and then we're going to identify appropriate strategies for each life stage, and then we're going to develop our own personal wealth creation plan. All right, before we begin, disclaimer, whatever we share in this session is only for educational purpose. So in no way that I give any recommendation for you to buy or sell any listed securities that we mentioned here. If you decide to make any investment decision, you're solely responsible for all your investment risks. Now, allow me to briefly introduce our speaker today. He graduated with a Bachelor in Finance from Coventry University, UK. He's a licensed financial planner and also a financial advisor's representative license. He is the co-founder of EECameron, which sharing contents of more than 1 million views. He has more than 11 years of investment experience and trained more than 1,200 working adults to master the wealth growth strategies in 3 years. So he's none other than Mr. George Paul. George, good evening. How are you today?
Hi, Shane. Good evening, and good evening to every one of you.
All right, fantastic. So I will just stop sharing my screen and hand over the control to you.
Okay, thank you, Shane. Now while I'm sharing my screen, please let me know if you can see it. All right. You can respond to me via the chat box. I would like to have
Yes.
more engagement with everyone of you. All right. Thank you, Shane. And let me just quickly go through what are we going to learn today? All right. The 4 pillars of wealth creations. Before I let you know the learning outcomes, I think Shane have just mentioned just now. I'd like to have more engagement with everyone of you. We are starting in the new year, right? 2025. And every year, the beginning of the year, we are setting goals, what I want to achieve in this year, 2025. Now, before I actually go into my topics, I would like to have a gauge of information from all of you. How many of you, you can just type down in your chat box, what is your goal in terms of wealth, wealth level or your wealth creation? What is your goal in 2025? No need to give me the specific one. Maybe just let me know you want to earn more money, you want your investment to gain, more returns, you want to, achieve 6-digit investment portfolios, a 1 million ringgit portfolios, just put it down in your chat box and let me know, because every year, early in the year, I would like to have, to get to know all of you, what you want to achieve in your life, so that today's in my topic, I hope that my sharing can suit your goals and can be able to help you, to how to achieve to your goals. All right. I have some people tell me that to fully understand the path to build wealth and really implement it. All right. Rachel, you came to the right place, because I think in Bursa webinars, we have a lot of sharings on investment, on financial plannings that can help you to fully understand the path and to implement it. All right. We have Kian Bing saying that he wants to have better investment returns. All right. Now, I hope that today's my sharing will be benefit to you. All right. Let me just go now. What you will learn today. All right. Okay, I see. Some people want to improve your investment skill. Some want to learn how to diversify more instrument. All right, you are all in the right place. But today, we are not going to dive into the investment, into the specific one. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to do stock investment. I'm not going to share you the knowledge how to do, alternative investment and whatnot. But today, I'm going to tell you the basic one, because every early in the year, we need to start with the right foundation. Okay, I hope you agree with me. If you're not, you still have to agree with me, because foundation is the basic, and we all have to, right? When we build a buildings, we need to have a good piling, we need to build a foundation right, so that we can build the high-rise building. Now, this is similar to our wealth. Now, I know you want to have a stable passive income, you want to have investment returns good, you want to achieve your wealth of a million portfolio. You need to start with the right foundation. Now, I'm here today to share with you the right foundation to how to do it and how we can actually plan the right path for ourselves. So today, you're going to learn to understand the 4 key pillars of wealth creation. All right. And I also identified some appropriate strategies, if not all, but some of the strategies for each of the life stages that you are in. All right. So you might see, hey, I'm in my late 40s. What can I do? Versus somebody that they are just started working, they are in their early 20s. What you should do. Everything in your different life stages, you need to do different things and take different strategies, right? And last but not least, I'm going to share with you how to develop a personalized wealth creation plan that I use, for all my financial coaching clients and all my students. I teach them how to do the wealth creation plan, how they do their investment roadmap. All right. And today I'm going to share it with you. Are you ready? Okay, I'm ready. If you're ready, just give me some response. This is a good year. We just put 5. This year is 2025. Just put in 5, 5, 5. All right. All right. Now, I won't take up much of your time. Let me just introduce you to the wealth creation. Okay, to the wealth creation. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have seen this before, the pyramid of wealth, or we call it the pyramid of wealth management. Right? If you have never seen it before, now today I'm going to introduce to you. The first thing is the wealth management pyramid. Now, what is this? Okay, a pyramid is started off with the wealth protections. Okay, now wealth protection is something like the foundation to all our wealth planning and management. So you can see in the right hand side, right, you will see the wealth protection. We have emergency fund, insurance planning, debt management. Now these are all the basic foundation. Okay, you need to save enough money. You need to know how to manage your debt before it becomes snowball and your debt is just out of control. And last but not least, you need to know how to do investment planning to mitigate your risk to the investment company. Okay, now I know protection is something boring and all people, everyone don't like it. Right? When I talk to you about, hey, you need to save more money, how many of you really listen to it and go and save more money? Maybe 2 out of 10, because saving is just something very boring, right? Something boring and say, I'm working, I have money, I need to invest more. Now, when we talk about investment, it's always about wealth accumulations. Okay, I want to bring it right to you that wealth accumulation come after the protections. That means in your real life financial planning or wealth planning, you need to always remember the first thing. You need to protect your back. You cannot go all out to invest without having some protections to you. Am I right? Have any one of you watched some drama, some movie about war? All the soldiers, they will carry their sword and they will carry their shield. Am I right? Have you seen any army or any soldier out there? They only carry their sword, but they never carry their shield. Never, right? Never. And when you look at and you watch the movie about the old ancient Chinese war, you will see some of the soldiers, they don't even have the sword or the weapon. They only have the shield. Why are they doing so? Because the shield is the protection and is the foundation. So we always need to have the wealth protection. Then we're going into accumulation. Now, when we talk about accumulation, it was about investment planning. How are we doing our retirement planning, education planning for our future children, and our asset allocations. Now, asset allocation is something that people always neglect because for them, some people just say, I know about stocks, so I went all into stocks. Some people say, I don't like stocks, I like properties. I went all out into properties. Now, this is not the correct investment strategy. Now, you need to know how to do asset allocation. Like I see some of the audience today just now mentioned, you want to learn how to diversify. Yes, now if you want to learn how to diversify, asset allocation is something that you need to really focus on and learn it. All right. Now, when we know how to accumulate our wealth, we know how to do investment and, grow our money along the time, then only we will go into the wealth preservation. Now, wealth preservation is something that when you have accumulated a good amount of money, a good amount of fortune, then you want to, okay, and now I need to preserve some of my money. I cannot went all in into stocks or into high risk investment anymore. I need to have some backup. I need to, just slow down a bit, reduce my risk appetite and whatnot. Now, this is what we call about wealth preservation. Now, when we're in the wealth preservation stage, we need to do about tax planning, how to save some tax, not to run away from tax, but how do we plan our tax wisely? Now, this is something very important. And then we need to know how to do risk management for our portfolio. Imagine when you are in the age of 50 or 55 or 60, and then you went all into stock investment. One day, COVID hits. One day another COVID, maybe COVID 26, COVID 27 hits, and the stock market just went down tremendously. Just like what we went through in 2020. And worst come to worst, we did not get the rebound that we are expected. Now, at the age of 60, and in the COVID 27 or 26, touch it. In the blink of eyes, all your wealth just gone. Like just throwing all your money into the ocean. Like when this happened, now risk management is very important. But you're at the age of 60. How are you going to start again to accumulate your wealth? You cannot, right? So to protect these kind of things to happen and to prevent it, we need to do risk management, right? And then portfolio rebalancing is something come along with the risk management. And last but not least is the wealth distribution. Now, wealth distribution is something that you want to pass your legacy to your future generation. So over here, we do some succession planning, some estate planning in our wealth management. Now, why I want to introduce to you the pyramid of wealth management, because this is the basic concept of how to build your fortune. All right. So if today you don't learn anything, I hope that you bring this back home. Okay. If you can, print it out, label it, or, just laminate it, stick it into your, bedroom or whatsoever. Just put it out there. Okay. All right. I have a question. Can elaborate what you mean by succession planning. Now, succession planning doesn't suit everybody. Okay. Because when we talk about succession planning, it's always about you have something that is successful and you want it to be passed down to your future generation. For example, you have a good portfolio of investment and now you want to pass it down to your future generation. Now, how are you going to do it? You cannot just put it into your will and your will or your trust and just let the the executor know that, oh, this amount of money just pass down to my children or to my grandson. You cannot just do that because they don't have the similar knowledge or the experience that you have. So when we talk about succession planning, it's always about how you're going to pass down the knowledge to your future generation. Similar story for if you are running a successful business. You don't want your business after you pass away run by some other person that don't know how to run business. Do you want to see when you are in the heaven and your business cannot sustain more than 5 years, 10 years after you just pass away? You don't want it to happen. So we need to have succession planning. Now, I like that question from Edmund. And to every one of you, if you have questions, just put it down into the Q&A sessions and we will cover that at the end of our sessions. All right. Now, after we have covered the pyramid, the basic, now I want to tell you why wealth creation matters. Okay. Why does it so important? Because wealth creation goes beyond just about earning money. Now, everyone's heard about wealth creation. It's about, oh, I can create my wealth. I can become a wealthy person. Yes, you can, but we need to know creation of your wealth goes just beyond about how to earn money. Okay, it has a lot more than that, right? So it's always about how to build our financial security, like what I mentioned just now, the protections, how to achieve your life goals, because everyone in life, we have our life goals, what we want to achieve in our life, and that will be the motivation of us to, to grow our wealth. And it's always about leaving a legacy so that we can pass down what we have, what we have built along the past 30, 40 years, 50 years to our future generation. And this money can grow and grow, and your family, your foundation is good, right? And to sum up the wealth creations is always about start as early as possible. You know, if you're now in your 30s and you have never planned for it, now today is the day you start to think about it and prepare for it, right? If you're in the early 20s, congratulations, because you have just started out into working, and now is the day you start to plan for your wealth creation planning, and also how you want to goals, you know, for your wealth to grow, you know, in the next 20, 30, and 40 years, right? So which one to focus? I believe you all know, right? Which one to focus now? To focus on wealth creations, okay? Your wealth protection is your number one to focus. Okay, is your number one to focus and build your foundation right. And I think this is very important, and this is very easy to do. Okay, just save more money. You know, very simple. Save more money as much as you can. Get the appropriate investment protection for yourself. Don't overbuy and don't underbuy. You know, just get appropriate protection for yourself, for your insurance needs, and then be focused into the wealth creation part, which is the wealth accumulation, wealth preservation. All right. And then to the last stage, you need to focus on the wealth distribution. Now, these are the 3 stages, but bear with me because today I'm talking to a huge crowd. So I don't know whether you are in your early stage or in your middle stage or you are at the late stage of your life. So we don't know about it. Okay. So later on, I will share with you how are we going to integrate this pyramid of wealth management and the 4 pillars of wealth creation into your life stage. So just bear with me for a few more minutes before we really talk about it, right? And one key concept I want you to keep it in your mind. Okay, I want you to keep it in your mind. When we talk about wealth creation, now this is the number one thing. This is the number one thing that you must always remember. Okay, can anyone tell me, if we talk about wealth creation, growing our fortune, growing our money, what is the number one key concept that you have in your mind? Okay, just put it down in the chat box. I want to see what concept that you have, so later I can collect it, I can throw it away, because I'm going to introduce to you the number one concept that you must have in your mind when we talk about wealth planning, wealth creations, growing your fortune, become wealthy, become richer. This is the number one key concept that you must have. Okay, investment. Now, I can agree half of it. Okay, investment is important, but when we talk about wealth management or wealth planning, investment is just part of it. All right. We have people say about discipline. Yes, discipline is a must. Okay, discipline is a must, because this is how we, you know, how we live our life. So discipline is a must, no matter in investment, in, you know, in living your life, in your career. Okay, knowledge. Yes, I agree. Knowledge is very important, but this is not the number one key concept. Okay, not the number one key concept, because why I say this is the number one key concept is because whether you have the knowledge or you don't have the knowledge, this thing will happen. Okay, this thing will happen. No, whether you have the knowledge or you don't have the knowledge, this thing will happen. Okay, inflation, wealth creation. Now you guys are very creative. You guys are, thank you for your participation. You guys give me a lot of engagement. But let me introduce to you the key concept. So I collected all your information. Now I'm not going to throw it away. I just keep it into my drawer. But the key concept I want you to have in your mind is the power of compounding. Okay, because today when we're talking about our wealth, now just now I see a very good comment which I like it a lot. It's about inflation. Now, why do people so afraid of inflation? It's because of the power of compounding. Am I right? When we talk about inflation, our price increased 2% every year. Now, when I talk about 2% every year, you won't feel fear. You know, you won't feel scared. You won't 2% only, right? You won't feel anything. But why you will feel hurt when we talk about inflation is 4%, 5%? Why? It's because of the power of compounding. Now, 2% every year. Now, 2% every year is not the simple one. 10 years, it becomes 20%. 20 years, it becomes 40%. Not that simple, right? Because we all know the power of compounding. So I want you to have this kind of key concept in your mind that the power of compounding is very important in your wealth creation journey. All right, now, good or good? I hope everyone, you feel good. Okay, now this is I don't think you are new to it, but I want to emphasize it once and foremost. All right, now, why I said so? The power of compounding is very important. Now, look at this chart. Okay, look at this chart. We look at the green color, the dark green color. It is all your money. In the next 30 years, you just imagine if you save your money for the next 30 years without any returns, okay? And let's just assume we don't take inflation into account first. We just look at the money by its monetary term, okay? Look at the dark green. For the next 30 years, it will sit still. Let's say you put 10 ringgit, it will become 10 ringgit at the end of the day, right? We just look at the monetary term. You just take out a piece of 10 ringgit note, okay? Just put it into a drawer for the next 30 years. What will it become? It will still be the 10 ringgit notes that you just put there. Am I right? Now, if we don't take in the compounding interest effect, look at the middle one, the light blue or the light green, okay? Whatever, you just know what I mentioned. The color between the dark green and also the orange color, the one in between. Without interest, for the next 30 years, we are generating 7% interest for you. Your money for 10 ringgit, it might become about 30 ringgit, okay, for the next 30 years. But look at the orange color. I want to bring your attention to the orange color, okay? With the power of compounding, in the next 30 years, your 10 ringgit, under the average return of 7% every year, it will become more than 70 ringgit. It will become more than 70 ringgit. Now, does it sound fascinating? Okay. Do you want your wealth to grow exactly like this? Okay. Do you want it to grow exactly like this? Okay. If you don't think this is very exciting, now, let me show you, okay, one of the great giant in the investment industry. Okay, everyone know about him. His name is the Warren Buffett. Okay, I just had my durian buffet this afternoon. And then Buffett is just, a tea more than the buffet, right? Warren Buffett. Now, do you want to know how Warren Buffett actually grows his wealth? Okay, he is smart. He is good in investment. He is good at spotting undervalued stocks, some value companies. But look at it. Look at it. How fascinating is the power of compounding. Now, in the age of 14, he has about $5,000. In the age of 30, now he is very good in investment. He's actually good at, getting monies from others to invest. At the age of 30, his net worth grew to $1 million. Okay. And from $1 million to $10 million, he only needs 7 years. Now he only needs 7 years. And until today, okay, at the age of more than 90 years old, his net worth is more than 136. Now I think this amount is called billion. Okay, 136. No, I don't think this is billion. I think this is trillion. Okay. Now, any one of you want to have this kind of net worth or not? Okay. Don't mention about the last one. We just look at the 37 years old, $10 million. How many one of you want your wealth to become $10 million at the age, at your retirement age? How many of you think $10 million is good for me? Okay. No need to comment anything. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Oh, thank you, Coach Cheng, about 136 billion, right? We don't talk about it. 10 million. How many of you want to have it? All right. How many of you want to have it? If you want to have it, give me a thumbs up, right? 10 million. Now, this is all about the power of compounding. Okay, the power of compounding. And no, don't ever think that this is a dream. Okay, don't ever think that this is a dream. Well, I can see a lot of you give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. 2025 is going to be a good year for every one of you and me, right? Now, don't think that 136 billion is too much for you. We just aim for the 10 million first. Okay. Now, I know you must have think of, George, I have 10 million ringgit. How can I achieve that? I'm actually at my 40s. I'm actually in my 30s. How am I going to reach that amount of money, amount of wealth? Now, this, you are not wrong. You are not wrong. Okay. You are right in some way, because there are some barriers, when we talk about investment or how to do our wealth creation or our wealth planning. There always the barrier is there. And these are some of the common barriers that will, they will affect our wealth creation journey. Now, first thing first is the inflation. And why so? As I mentioned just now, the power of compounding, similar to our inflation, the cost of living will keep on rise every year. That's why our central bank always set the target at about 2%. They don't want it to go higher. They won't want it to go lower. They want it aim it at 2% every year. For them, this is good enough. All right. So inflation will always erode our savings. Now, when the inflation erode our savings and our savings sits still in the bank account and is doing nothing, it will get eroded and it will affect our wealth creation. Why it doesn't affect Warren Buffett? It affected Warren Buffett as well. But Warren Buffett just made more money from his investment so that the inflation doesn't seem to hit him. But every one of us, we cannot run away from inflation because we are not living in an isolated island. We grow our own crops. We eat our own vegetable. We feed our own fish and whatnot. We are not doing that. So inflation is happening to everyone. Okay, so we must think of it. So this is one of the common barriers to our wealth creation. Now, second thing, inflation is hard, but this is our basic living, but lifestyle inflation. Okay, can any one of you agree with me? 20 years ago, 20 years ago, when we don't have smartphones, maybe some of you have it, right? But I don't have smartphone 20 years ago. We don't have smartphones. We don't simply buy something that is about 5,999 ringgit, the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 15. We don't simply buy things like this. And our lifestyle, we keep it simple. In a 20 years ago, I play basketball. I don't play video games. I don't, go to gym studio. I don't, go to movie. I play basketball, which costs me nothing. But can you agree? In today's, we also have lifestyle inflation. People just simply spend more beyond their means. You know what do you mean? That means you're earning about 3,000, but easily you will spend more than 3,000 every month. Can anyone agree with me? Okay, if you can agree with me, just put in yes. If it's not happened to you, it must have happened to somebody around you. Am I right? Am I right? Now I can see a lot of thumbs up means you are agree with it. Yes, it is happening. Okay, it is happening. So lifestyle inflation is also something that is affecting our wealth creation journey. Okay, and not to mention about the lack of financial literacy. Now, lifestyle inflation is nothing scary because people grow. Now, people grow, our technology grow. Now, this is something that will surely happen. But lack of financial literacy is something that hits, especially in Malaysia and all the ASEAN countries. Lack of financial literacy will lead you to miss opportunity, and worst come to worst, it will make you lose money because of money scam. You don't know how to identify the right investment or the scam. Am I right? Now, this is quite scary. And this is, I think, why Bursa Malaysia is doing webinar like this. We are doing education and financial coaching out there to help people to build their financial literacy. Now, this is the barrier. This is the barrier. They are affecting you and stopping you from achieving the wealth or the goals that you want. And last but not least is the emotional decision making in investment. Now, this is something I cannot help you, but you need to manage it yourself. Because in emotional, in theory, we can just tell you now, you don't look at the stock market. You don't install the trading app. When you buy the stock, you keep it for a long term, you just delete your apps. Now, this is something in theory we can share with you. But Will you do that? And will your emotion still kicks in when every time you want to do investment? You know, I can give you an example. In the past, I talked about investment to my, to my financial coaching students and my clients. I told them, hey, you need to do this investment. And then after 2 months or 3 months, I check in with them. Hey, have you done the investment yourself? They say no. Then I ask, hey, why you're not doing that? And the common answer I will get is that, oh, I look at the price, I think the price is a bit higher, so I want to wait for it to go down. And you know what? 3 months, the price can just go up along the way, never came down, right? So don't time the market. This is the first thing. But why they do the decision 3 months ago? It's because of emotion. They think, they feel that, oh, I'm buying expensively. I'm investing into the investment, quite expensive asset. Now, this is their emotion. Now, this is something that are stopping us to achieve what goes in the wealth that we want in our life. Now, so with that, I want to introduce you to the 4 pillars of wealth creation. Okay, the 4 pillars of wealth creation. Now, these 4 pillars is quite balanced and is adaptable framework for your building wealth throughout every stage of your life. So bear with me. I'm going to introduce to you these 4 pillars, right? If you're ready, go. If you're ready, just let me know you are, right? Now, the first pillar is always about protections. Okay, what is protections? Protection in wealth creation means how do we safeguard our wealth? It can be through insurance, through estate planning, or through risk management. Now, when we talk about these protections, it's something beyond the pyramid of wealth management, because in wealth creations and in all the every journey of our wealth management pyramid, we all need protections. So we need to know how to safeguard our wealth, through some different tools and ensure the sustainability of our wealth during the uncertainties. Now, this is what I mean about risk management. Okay, now this is the first pillar. Now, second pillar, once you have your protections ready, always do savings. The foundation of wealth creation is savings, because what can saving brings us? Okay, early of the presentation, I talked about people think that saving is boring. Now, I want to ask all of you, just be honest with me. Be honest with me. How many of you think that savings is boring and you don't like it? You give me 1. How many of you think that, oh, saving is something very interesting? I like to save a lot of money. Give me 2. Okay, I want to just see your response here. Because a lot of people will think, yes, savings is boring. Oh, I see different crowd here. People like to save. Great. Okay, now, the truth be true, you guys are the lucky one. You guys are the smart one. You guys like to do saving. But most of the people out there, they don't like to do saving, right? Because for them, saving is just something very boring. But remember, savings is not only savings or not only the money sitting in the banks. Savings can do what? It can provide us with liquidity. Whenever we are in emergency, we can use that. And it also provide us with some backup plans. When we see, when some of the investment out there is really undervalued, and all your money are already in the investment stuck there, how are you going to capture this undervalued stock and this opportunity? You need to have savings so that you can, when you see some undervalued opportunities appear, you can capture it. You can grab the opportunities, right? And this tool is enough to support my points that savings is very important, right? And thirdly, it can help us to do income generation. Now, third pillar of wealth creation is always about income generation. Now, when we talk about income generation, it's always about two categories of it. One is active income and one is passive income. Now, before we move into investment, always secure your active income first. Okay, if you are at the stage of early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, while you are still working, always ensure that you have a stable active income. Okay, then only you explore different passive income streams, to help you to grow your money, to help you to grow your money. And last but not least is about investment. Okay, now, investment is the growth engine for wealth. So we have equities, we have shares, we have bonds, we have mutual funds, we have properties, different type of investment asset out there, right? So this is very important. How are we aligning our investment, not our asset allocation, together with our goals, our risk level, our portfolio plan? Now, this is very important. Now, this is the 4 pillars of wealth creation. Okay, bear in mind, protections, then savings, income generation, and last but not least is the investment. Now, let us go into the second chapter of it. How are we going to integrate these wealth creation pillars into our life stages? Okay, into our life stages. Now, I'm going to show you this picture. I think you have seen it, the graph here. Now, can I see a show of hand? You put in numbers, still put in numbers because I really cannot see your hands. Still put in numbers. How many of you are in your early employment age? Okay, early employment age. You put in 1. Okay, put in 1. How many of you are in the middle of your career? That means you are more than 35 to 40 years old. You are halfway to your retirement. You put 2. Okay, you put 2. How many of you are retired or you have reached your retirement age but you are still working? It's okay. You are at the retirement age. You are more than 55 years old. Put in 3 for me. Okay, put in 3. Because why I'm doing so? Okay, why I'm doing so? Because wealth creation is not a one-size-fits-all journey. You must always remember, okay, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not, oh, just saying I must do savings, but you're at the age of 60. How are you doing to do savings? You're at the stage to pass down your legacy, right? So every stages, we have different financial priorities, challenges, and opportunities. So we need to always tailor our approach so that our wealth creation strategies is aligned with your life station. Okay, now let me just go through with the comment section. I can see a lot of you are at your retirement age. All right, now, thank you very much. Later, I will share you, okay, how are we going to do when we are early in our life and we are middle in our life and the late stage of our life. Okay, I'm so sorry to say that I categorize this as the late stage of our life, but I don't mean that you are, you are going to say bye-bye soon. All right, you're still healthy, you're still living your life. But I just want to say you are going to say bye-bye to your work. Okay, you're going to say bye-bye with your work. So you are at your retirement age. Now, why we need to do so? There are a few key points here. First thing, because we have a dynamic financial priorities. Now, people in your early 20s or in your late 20s or 30s, your financial priorities here is to, maybe buy a house, wedding, marry your lovely wife, lovely husband, you want to build a family. Now, this is in your 30s or in your 20s. But for people in their midlife, they are more than 40 years old. Their financial priorities might be, I want to have the good financial, I want to have a good education for my children in the next 10 to 15 years, right? So different people, you have your different financial priorities. So we need to have a dynamic one. So the second thing is always about evolving risk tolerance, because at different age of our life, our risk tolerance is different. Now, our risk tolerance is different. I have just spoken to one of my prospect, I think few months ago. She engages me for my financial one-to-one financial coaching service. She engages me, and then she's talking about, I think she's at her late 50s or 60s, and she wanted to have some me time for herself, but she's into high risk investment. Now I told her, now at this age, you are not suitable for high risk, because this is not something for you, and why you need to do that when you can enjoy your life easily with the amount of wealth you have now. So this is something I want to emphasize here. Our risk level is different, so we have an evolving risk tolerance along the way. Now, when we say evolving, it's not always going up, but at the other way around, it will always go down. That means your risk tolerance will always go down when you grow older. Okay, so with that, we need to always tailor our approach to our wealth creation. And last two, I'll just make it quick, is how are we, why? Because we need to maximizing our opportunities. We don't want to waste the opportunity when we are at the early of our life, and we don't want to chase after the opportunities that are beyond our control when we are at our midlife or our late life. Okay, so we need to have a tailor-made, approach or wealth creation plan for ourselves. And last but not least, avoiding common pitfall. Now, investing aggressively close to retirement can lead you to a significant losses. I want to emphasize again, because I know a lot of you here today is at the edge of, retirement age or beyond that. So I want to let you know, investing too aggressively at this time, can lead you to significant losses, because the equities market is just beyond our control. Okay. And vice versa, if you're being too conservative when you're in your 20s, it will always result in missed growth opportunity for yourself. So we want to avoid some common pitfall that people did, in the journey. And so lucky I have the chance to work with more than 1,000 working adults in their different life stages of, different stage of their life. So I know what are the common, things that they do which is not correct, and what are the common mistakes they have done. Right. So let me just quickly go through for stage one. Now, stage one, I can see just now not many of you are in stage one, so I will just run through quickly. All right. So when you are in your stage one, means you are in your 20s or your 30s, your first thing in your wealth creation plan is always about building the foundation. Okay. Now, why? Okay. Why you need to always have the foundation, right? Because look at here. Our goal for you in your wealth creation plan, or the goal you should have, is always about how to develop a good financial habits. Now, good financial habits is not something that only for yourself. It will lead you to a successful wealth creation journey along the way for the next 20 to 30 years. And very important, a good financial habits will always pass down to your future generation. So that means when you have a good financial habits, your children and your grandchildren unlikely will become someone who don't know how to manage their money, who don't know how to save money, who don't know how to do investment. Unlikely. I learned investment from my parents, when I was in my 16 years old. I learned investment from my parents because they have a good financial habit. They pass it down to me and my siblings, and we started investment in our very young age. So this is something that in your mind, you need to always develop a good financial habits. Okay, and always start investing early now to take advantage of the compounding, but don't too early before you actually get your protection or your foundation right. Okay, and please, now this is something evolving in Malaysia. We have a lot of articles, we have a lot of ministers actually talk about it. Is our debt level for the young people. For people below 30 years old, our debt level is very high in our country today. So I want you to have this kind of goal. Manage your debt effectively. Okay. Don't always think about loan before you do anything. Okay. Always think about how you can save more money, how you can earn more money to get what you want in life. Right. So your strategies for the people in your early 20s to 30s, your strategy is start with a basic health and life insurance protection first. You need to protect yourself. Then build an emergency fund. Okay, build an emergency fund about 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Save more before you invest, right? And then try to maximizing your active income through your career growth. Now, this is something that a lot of people actually forget to look at it. For them, they think, I'm work so that in futures I can, live on my investment. I can become my own boss. But I can assure you, don't think about it first. Get as much knowledge as you can, and experiences as you can in your career while working. Learn more from your superior, learn more from your bosses, and try to advance your career from there, right? So you can earn more active income and focus on high growth investment after all the above are ready. Okay, after all the above are ready. And I give you this one slide. Okay, you can screenshot for it if you are in your stage one, early employment stage. For 4 pillars of our wealth creation, what you can do and what you should do. Okay, now I will jump into okay, some people say emergency fund up to 6 months of salary. Okay, I would say 6 months of salary is something I won't use. I always compare to the expenses. Why? Because expenses is something that you need to pay even if you're not working, right? So salary, sometimes you get savings as well. Okay, so when emergency fund, I will also emphasize 3 to 6 months of expenses you will do. No need to save so much until it is your salary. Unless your salary is lesser than your expenses, then I highly recommend you to save according to your expenses, not to your salary. Okay, not to that. Some people ask me, why need emergency fund if got credit card? Now, remember my goal here to you is that manage your debt effectively, right? Look at here. Look at which part of it. Okay, I didn't write it down here. It's the goal. It's the goal in the previous slide. Always manage your debt effectively. Now, when you think about it, if I have credit card, why I need emergency fund? Think about it. If you have lost your job, you just get retrenched from your job and you can't get a job for the next 3 to 6 months. How are you going to survive? Do you think your credit card can survive you? I don't think so. But if they can, you are paying us 18% per annum interest on your credit cards. This is something that you don't want to build. And you will badly in debt. Okay. Take note of my words here. You will badly in debt if you do so. Okay, so I highly encourage you to save than to consider using your credit cards. Right, now, we have about 30% of you are in your mid-employment life. So I want you to focus here. Okay, now when you are in this stage of life, your wealth creation plan is always about accelerating your growth and managing your responsibility. So your goals here, very simple, is to balance your wealth growth and the protections for your dependents. Okay, because at this age of life, you have already a family there. If not, you have your wife or you have your old age parents to take care of, right? So we need to always think about the protection for them, because I've seen many cases, people just broke their banks just to spend on the medical bills for their children or for their parents because they don't buy enough protections. Now, this is very important. Now, second thing, your goal is always about plan for some significant expenses. For example, your children education, your upgrade of your house and whatnot. And last but not least, this is the age. Okay, if you never do so in your early age, start to prepare for your retirement. Okay, I hope that you have already done that, because according to our Malaysian survey, the Ringgit Plus survey, I think more than 50% of our Malaysian have not started to prepare for their retirement. So I hope from today's onward, you will start to prepare for your retirements. And the strategies, the summarized strategy for you at this stage of life is to begin your estate planning to secure your generational wealth transfer first. Now, this might not be the finalized one, but you need to have it in place. Okay. And second, this is the time for you to expand your passive income sources, because I believe in your age of 40s, your career might already in a very high level. If not the middle management, you highly likely will be in the high management, the top management, senior management side. So from here, your career advancement might already be stagnant, but you need to start to expand your passive income through investment, through some consultation work or some side gigs or whatnot. You need to start expand your passive income. And remember, at this stage of life, you need to diversify your investment across asset classes to manage your risk. Remember, we need to always do risk management, because when we start to grow older, our risk tolerance level goes down. Okay, now, in the four pillars of our wealth creation at this age, your protections, you need to always expand it to include your family protections and start to begin your estate planning. Now, for a savings, maintain the emergency fund. Okay, maintain it. Don't overspend. Don't build too much, but maintain it and save more major expenses. Okay, like your children college tuition, your second property and whatnot, right? And for income generation, it is time for you to optimize your active career and also expand your passive income. Very important. And this is time when you should start considering about dividend investment, some risk investment that balance out your risk level together with the growth opportunity. And last but not least, in terms of your investment, you need to always diversify it to manage the risk. Okay, so when you do equities investment, you also need to have something that is, mitigating your risk out there or different type of asset classes, and always focus on moderate risk investment. At this stage of life, you're no longer suitable for the high growth investment, which carry higher risk. Remember now, so at this stage of life, focus more on moderate risk. And if you are already in this stage of life, okay, because I can see about 30% of you are in this stage, right? look into your portfolio, look into your investment. Is your investment are all in the high risk level or they are in the moderate risk? If they are in high risk, try to tone it down and start to look and learn how to do investment for the moderate one. Okay, but if your investment is all in the lower risk, you're in FD, you're in money markets, I will encourage you to also maybe allocate a portion of it, about 20% or 30% into some moderate risk investment to how to say, to leverage more on the power of compounding. Okay, all right, good or good? I hope everyone is really good after have shared this, right? So next, this is the highlight of the day. Now, a lot of you are in your late life of it. You are more than 55 years old, or you are in your 55 years old retirement age. Now, your tagline, all your goals, all your theme for you is preserving and enjoying your wealth. Okay, enjoying your wealth. So your goals here is always to ensure the financial stability and steady income. You don't want to go into crypto because that will give you a heart attack, right? You don't go and chase for 50% return, 60% return in the market. For you, a steady income about 6 to 7%, 8% is something good. Now, the key here is cash flow. Because you're in the retirement age, you need money. You need money to sustain your life, to pay for your living costs, right? So this is something that you need to have. I give you a joke. If you raise your kids, your children good enough, they will become your steady income source as well. When you have already reached this stage. Now this is just a joke, okay? But I want to tell you, you can do so, and you might have the chance to enjoy this if you have raised your kid very well and they are all good, earning good amount of money. This is something good, right? So second thing, your goal in this stage of life is always minimize the risk. Now I've talked about risk in the past 1 hour, and I will continue to emphasize it because I am a conservative person. I look at risk before I look at the returns. So risk is something that you need to always look after. And for you, especially in the late life of your life stage, right? Risk is something you don't want to play against it. Okay, you want to just play along with it so that you get your lower risk while still getting some good, decent amount of investment returns, right? And for you, last but not least, is always plan for legacy and wealth transfer. Because if let's say you have a $10 million wealth at this moment, you have 1 million, 5 million, you still need to transfer this amount of money. Even you tell me, hey, Josh, I don't have that much of money. I only gather about 500,000. I always tell people, no matter how much is the money, you still need to transfer it down to your future generation, because we can't bring it along with us when we go to heaven. Am I right? Are you going to carry all your bank cards, your savings account, your Bursa CDS account along with you together? You tap out everything and then you say, oh, God, okay, this is something I want to carry with me. You can't do so. So we need to pass it down to our future generation. So this is something that is your goal. If you have never done it, this is the time you start to think about it and plan for it and get it done, right? So your strategies here is always finalized. Okay, now this is the time you start finalize for your estate plan. For example, your will, your trust, or your succession planning, and maintain liquidity, in terms of your investment to cover your daily expenses, and try to shift all your investment into some low risk income focused investments. Now, this is very important. So when we talk about the 4 pillars of wealth creation, when you are in your retirement age, okay, now protection is always ensure that you already have a comprehensive health insurance or protection in place. If you don't have, try to look for alternative so that you get covered as well, because you don't want your hard-earned investment money going to pay into your medical bill. No, you don't want to waste it for the hospital because they are charging like hell. Okay, just watch my word. Okay, but they are charging a lot more higher these days. So you don't want your hard-earned investment money goes into there. So you need to have your insurance protection in place. Now, and then finalize your estate plan. Okay, like what I mentioned just now. And savings, now at this stage of life, you need to maintain liquidity. Okay, so you don't want your money or your savings caught into something that's secure for more than 1, 2, 3 years that you cannot take out. You know, nowadays there are a lot of people talk about cash trust, private trust out there in the market, and that kind of investment, I will not talk about it whether they are legal or they are, they are what not. But that is something that will lock your money, and it is something that you don't want to, because at this stage of life you need cash flow, you need money, you need income. So you cannot lock your money into something that, there's something for medium term, for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Okay, try not to do that, and avoid unnecessary withdrawal, from your wealth, from your savings, because you need to preserve it for the next 10 to 20 years, right? And income generation at this age of life, I think you don't have much time or energy to do active income. So you need to depend on your passive income stream. For example, your pension fund, your EPF, generated about good amount of 5.5% per year, 6% per year. You can do something like a fixed deposit. I hope so, but they are giving about 3 point something percentage. So you can try to consider something like dividend stocks, some REITs that are good in fundamentals and they are giving a good decent amount of dividend income. This is something that you should look into because it gives you some passive income stream. And always optimize on your tax efficiency if you are trying to withdraw from your retirement accounts. If you have not hit the 55 years old benchmark, okay, try to look at it at this from the tax viewpoint. And from your investment, always try to shift it to the low risk income focused investment. Like what I mentioned, just a dividend is something that you should look after. Bonds, okay, is something that always pay interest biannually. If not, they are paying annually coupon or interest. Okay. Also try to rebalance your portfolio every year because you want to reduce the volatility along the way when you grow older. And you want to always look at, hey, is my investment really generating the amount of cash flow or passive income that I want? Okay. Now I give you one simple formula, how to look at it, or how to calculate how much is your retirement. Okay. I give you a one key formula. Just think about how much income or passive income that you want to earn from your from your investment portfolio when you are at your retirement age. Let's say you say, okay, I want 10,000 ringgit per month. So it's about 120,000. Okay. When you have that amount, about 120,000 per year, okay, we do the reverse engineer, we do the reverse calculation. Just divide by the percentage of dividend that you think you can achieve for your investment portfolio. For example, let's say your benchmark for dividend income, you say, okay, my portfolio, I want it to have 6% dividend rate. Okay, take 120,000 divided by 6%. Now you will get the amount of your retirement goal that you should focus on. Okay, now some people, you think you are good in investment, you're good in spotting undervalued dividend stock, which can give you higher dividend yield. Similar formula, 120,000, maybe you say, oh, 8% I can do. Just divide by 8%, you will get the number, your financial, your retirement amount of money that you want to achieve. Now, this is one tip that I can give you, right? For people who want to, who are in this before you reach this stage of life. Okay, I see a question in the chat box. Kindly elaborate, optimize your tax efficiency in withdrawal from retirement accounts. Okay, now I'll put it this way. Tax efficiency is not only from your retirement accounts. Just like I mentioned one, which is from your APF account. If you have not reached your 55 years old, you withdraw it, you cannot withdraw it. And after you hit 55 years old, and now you can withdraw it from a mass account. Mass account, yes, EMS, a mass account. Now, other than that, okay, people always neglect one thing. When you buy properties, when you buy properties 5 years, 10 years ago, and now you say, okay, I want to sell this property out for my retirement. Now, always remember there is real property gain tax in Malaysia, RPGT. So you need to always look at it. It is right time for me to sell if you just buy it about 5 years or 10 years ago. No, it is the right time for you to sell. Now, this is something I want to emphasize here because I have one case. Okay, I have one case in 2024 when this lady she bought a house for his eldest son. Okay, in 2023. In 2023, he bought a house, and in 2024, he wanted to sell it off. Okay, and the capital gain now from this property is about 90,000. It's about 90,000 in the past for 1 year. The property increased prices, for 90,000, and now she want to sell it. And I talked to her. I said, "Hey, you really want to sell it, because you will get an RPGT of 30%, So she realized, oh, yeah, there is a 30% RPGT. Just check it because RPGT might change, okay? But I just told, hey, there is an RPGT tax imposed on your gain, on the amount of 90,000. So you need to pay 30% to the government, to the RHDN. I really need to do so. She said, yes, I have no choice because my son need to really buy a house and he don't have the down payment. Now, this is something I want to answer to you. Just now, the one who asked about tax efficiency. Now, this is something that I want to emphasize here. All right. Okay. Now, I see a question here. I will keep this question. Shade, I will keep this question at the end of the stage. At the end of a session in the Q&A, I will keep it. Remind me. Okay. Also, maybe Shane, you can take it down. The question from Shade. If you're at the stage of stage 3, we don't have the amount of savings that we need. Are we doomed, or what we can do? I keep it to the end of our session. Right now, let me go into the last part of our today's sharing. Is about create your personalized wealth creation plan. Now, there is 4 factors to a successful wealth creation plan. Okay, in the past 3 years of my financial planning journey and coaching more than 1,000 people, now this is something I find out. Why some people, their wealth creation plan just work out very good, and some people, their wealth creation just don't work as much as they expect. Because first thing, they don't have a clear financial goal. Why a clear financial goal is very important? Because a goal is like it's like a compass to us. It provides the direction and the motivation, and more importantly, the purpose for us to put in the effort to create more wealth. So it also ensures that our direction are aligned with what we want in our life. So this is the one key thing, one factor that I found in many people. They really have a clear financial goals, so that they can achieve what they want in life. Now, second thing, now this is something that just now some of you just talk about it, is about discipline. Okay, discipline execution is something that I will also emphasize a lot just now in my sharing, because a solid plan, if you have a good plan, but without consistent action, now this is something very meaningless. Your plan is just like a wasted paper, because you don't take actions. So discipline is something that will help you to ensure your savings, your investment, your risk management strategy are executed as like what you plan, and they can help you. Okay, and this is something that they can help you. And one very important discipline is that we need to always review it so that we know what we did right and what we have did wrongly. Okay, so we adjust our strategy. And third factor I saw a lot of people do is they have a proper risk management. And that's why I always talk about risk just now. If you're in your early life, try to go for high growth opportunities. And if you are in your middle life, go for something in moderate risk. And if you are in your late life, go for the lowest risk, because you have your risk tolerance just went down a lot, and you don't have a lot of money to play with the market, right? And last factor, I see a lot of people doing, and a lot of successful people with a really good amount of wealth, they are always adaptable, and they always do continuous learning. So I want to congratulate every one of you here today, because the last factor, the continuous learning, you are doing it, because you spend your 2 hours here today with us in this Pusa webinar to learn. Now, congratulations. All these 4 factors, you have fulfilled one. So you are 25% in the journey. All you need to do is the next 3, the next 75%. How do you set the clear financial goals? How do you do the discipline execution? And how do you do the proper risk management? All right. So I share with you some steps to create a personalized wealth creation plan. First thing first, always define your financial goals. How are we going to do that? Set your short-term goals, define your medium-term goals, and also establish your long-term goals. Okay. Now, I give you an example. What is the short-term goals? If you don't have your emergency fund, you don't have your savings, your short-term goals now, today, is to build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your expenses, right? So once you have that, okay, you set these short-term goals, you always need to have your medium-term goals, right? If your goal is wanted to buy house or fund for your children education, calculate it up. Okay, how much do you need and how many years you have to go before you need to spend this money, right? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, define it and put it into numbers. And last, establish the long-term goals. At your retirement age, how much money that you want. Okay, I have give you the one formula that I always use, for my clients if they don't have the idea how to calculate their retirements. I have already given you the formula. Use that to calculate now. This is your long-term retirement goals that you want. Okay, define it. Now this is the first stage. Now second stage, after you have defined it, okay, if you have not defined your financial goal, don't come to the second stage, please. Don't come to the second stage. So second stage is the assess your current financial position. Okay, now why we need to assess our current financial position? Because we need to know where am I right now. I always give the example to all my students and all my clients. When we are going somewhere, for example, I'm staying in PJ. If today I want to drive to Sunway Pyramid. Okay, I want to go and shopping to buy some Chinese New Year clothes. I need to open my Waze. I need to set the location. If not, if I'm ordering Grab, I need to also set where am I right now so that I know how much time it will take me to arrive to Sunway Pyramid. Similar to our wealth creation plan, we need to know where am I right now so that I can plan, my investment plan and my portfolio. How am I going to achieve to my financial goals? This is very important. So the third stage will be build the 4 pillars of wealth creation. I've already give you the goals, the summarized strategies that you can take, okay, in your different life stages. Build it up. Okay, build your savings, build your income generation, build your protections, and build your investment, along the journey. And number 4, create an action plan for each life stage. Okay, don't just plan for now. You need to always plan for your future. Okay, create action plan first, because if every year when you review it, you might want to change or adjust something. But the basic is you need to always have the action plan in place so that every year you got something to review. Okay, and last but not least, monitor and reassess it regularly. Okay, now this is something people don't do. Every early in the year, I will say I want to cut my weight to 75 kgs. At the end of the year, I don't review it. And in 2026, early in the year, January, I will shout out again. Oh, I want to diet. I want to cut my weight to 75 kgs. But I've never done that. Why? Because I don't monitor it regularly. Okay, now this is very important. The 5 stages. I'm quite running out of my time, so I will just skip the detail of it. Okay, but I have just shared everything that I want to share with you. Okay, so my summary to you here today. All right. A personalized and dynamic wealth creation plan will ensure you remain financially prepared. Okay, I believe after you listen to my sharing, you also feel that, right? Why we need to have a good wealth creation plan and make sure it is a dynamic one so that you get to review it every year and it will adjust based on the, every year, what happened to the market, what happened to your investment. And always regularly revisit your goals, adjust your strategies, and very important, align it with the 4 pillars of wealth creation. And I assure you, you can build a very resilient financial foundation, okay, to the life that you want in the long-term success. All right. So with that, thank you very much for everyone for listening to me in the past 1 hour. Okay, I pass back it to our moderator for some Q&A question. All right. Thank you very much. Let's call Shane back.
Thank you so much, George. All right. So if any questions to ask our speaker, you may write your questions in Q&A box, yeah, not the chat box. Okay. So I think let's visit the question that Josh you wanted to address just now. Um, if we are now at the age of stage 3, but we don't have the amount of saving that we need, so what can we do?
No, I will say, shit, you're not doomed, okay? Because if you don't have the amount of savings that you need, okay, what we need to do, we always need to be, we need to be dynamic, we need to be flexible, okay? It might be hard for you, and you might have a difficult retirement time, but I can tell you, when we are in this stage of life and we don't have the amount of savings that we have, always try to readjust your needs, okay, the needs of yours. For example, if let's say you're in your retirement age and maybe you need 5,000 per month to survive, but your retirement saving just don't allow you to have 5,000. If not, it will get spent out in the 2 to 3 years. So what we can do, try to reduce down our expenses. I'm sorry to say that, but we need to really reduce down our expenses. For example, 5,000, you reduce it down to 2,500, 3,000, people will tell me, hey, Josh, how can I live in KL, the basic cost of living is very high. Okay, try to think from the other way around, okay? Can you move to another state or town or city that have a lesser cost of living? It can be done. Okay, it can be done. But you have the habit, oh no, I want to stay in my own house. But you can't afford for the, for the cost of living. Now, this is something I want to share with you. Okay, you are not doomed, but it's something that you must take action so that we can do that. All right. And if let's say you have some energy, okay, try to get some side work, a side hustle, to earn some money, because at this state of time, passive income is something too PC for you. Try look for something quite active until you really have no energy or you have very low energy to do so. All right. So this is something I can share with you. I hope that you can take it and try to improve your retirement age. All right.
All right. Next question is how and what do we do to rebalance our portfolio?
Okay, good question. All right. So how do we do and what to do? All right. So I will just put it into two separate element. Now, how to do, very simple. When we want to rebalance it, there are always two things that I look at. Okay. First thing is I always reassess our own portfolio, investment portfolio. Okay. And second thing, you don't just reassess your investment portfolio, because you reassess it and you will get nothing, because you will just see, oh, which investment generating returns for me this year and which are not, right? It have nothing to do how to rebalance it. So when we talk about rebalance, the second thing I always look at is the external factor. For example, what is my market outlook for 2025? Will it affect my investment portfolio? All right. If let's say, oh, I assess the market outlook for 2025, I can foresee there are a lot of uncertainties, and something fixed or something stable might be the theme for this year for me. So I look back to my for my investment portfolio. Am I having a lot of stable investment, or all my investment are equities and shares that are highly volatile? If they are, I might want to now rebalance my portfolio into something that are quite stable this year. Just try to be flexible and shift and rebalance your portfolio. And this is how to do. But what to do, right? What to do? Because when we talk about rebalance on paper, everyone can do. But when I ask you really, you go and sell your stocks and try to shift it into something moderate risk or something fixed income, you might think, hey, which one should I pick? Or what should I do? Now, this is your question to me, right? What to do? Always, okay, look into your portfolio. You will find something that you can really sell, take profit, if not cut losses, okay? Or you can see which investment are really volatile, especially in this market. Then you try to shift it back to something that is stable, So this is something that you can do. Always reassess it and, try to rebalance it by doing this thing. And remember, you need to do it regularly. Okay. Right.
All right. The next question. After we reach retirement age, say after 55, draw from retirement savings so that the fund could last longer, say until 80 years old. So that's a
Okay,
question
good
by
question.
Kennedy.
The optimal rate of withdrawal, I would say, is something that your investment portfolio can generate. For example, if your investment portfolio can generate 6% for you, okay, now your optimal rate of withdrawal is that 6%. You know why? Because you are withdrawing the investment returns. You are not withdrawing from the principal itself, right? But for me, the optimal rate of withdrawal is always about 8%. For me, I look at 8% so that, take the amount of money that you need, okay, per year after your retirement, divide by 8%. Now you know how much you need to save. Now save it right now, okay, until the age, so that when this amount of when this portfolio can generate 8% of income for you every year. Now this portfolio can sustain until you're 80 years old, and you still can pass it down to your children. Am I right? Because you're just spending on the investment return. You are not spending a lot more than the principal. Okay. So for me, 8% is my optimal, but don't follow me. Look at your investment knowledge and experience and how much you are confident that you can achieve. 6%, if 6% is your, if it's something that you can do, then your optimal rate of withdrawal should be 6%. Okay. Always match it with your investment return.
All right, so the follow-up question is that after we reach 55 years old, can I withdraw my money from EPFs? Do I can withdraw my money from ETF. Do I still need to keep 6 months of emergency funds? Or I can use my EPF as an emergency fund?
Okay, good question. If let's say you are already after 55 years old, I can say all your money is your emergency fund. No matter they are from your EPF or they are your savings, they are all your emergency funds because you don't work anymore. Am I right? Now, if this is the scenario, okay, what you should always think about is which money can generate, a low risk while income focused return for me. Now, if that is the case, okay, now first thing you look at the income focus first. Second thing, look for the liquidity. Why I ask people to do 3 to 6 month emergency fund savings? Because this is something very liquid. If you need it tomorrow, you can straight away withdraw from your bank accounts. Okay. But think about it. If all your money you save in EPF, how fast you can withdraw the money from EPS? I know nowadays EPF is quite fast, in terms of withdrawing our money. But do you think you want to save everything into EPF, without having something really liquid that you can just by a click from your phone, you can get the money? So for me, you still need to have something in your bank accounts, for your daily or your monthly living expenses. Okay. While, for example, your EPF money, you can start to, shift it. If not, if you don't want to shift it, I think EPF is giving a decent amount of investment returns. Okay. If you want to shift it or diversify it a bit, you can try to go for, some dividend stocks or some income focused and low risk investment that can generate maybe more than the EPF returns, so that you can, sustain your investment, your wealth until the last stage of life. Right.
Thanks, George. The next question is by Sheikh Abdul Nakuddin. What is your view on long-term investment? Unit trust give higher cumulative return between 3 to 5 years and then become lower after that, right? Do we have to take profit every time when you reach 10% gain?
Okay, good question from Shed. I think in the previous sharing, I did share about this past 20 or 15 years of asset classes return, all the asset classes return in the past 15 years. And there's always one thing that you can highlight from that kind of chart. You can always see there's no single investment asset were always in the top 3 best performing asset every year. Now, this is something I want to highlight to you, because what you have asked me just now is that, I can see some unit trusts, they are performing really good for the 3 to 5 years and they are not. Why? because there's no single investment out there that, you know, always be the top performing one. Okay, so how to answer your question is always that, yes, I am really optimistic about long-term investment. I believe that we should keep on investing, you know, until the end of our life. But it's not means that you need to always keep on investing into the similar things, you know. So we need to be dynamic. And that's why I always talk about the wealth creation plan. Remember, early stage, middle stage, and the late stage of your life, we need to shift our investment and do portfolio rebalancing. Okay, so this is something that I always wanted to say. Long-term investment in terms of the keep on investing mindset, this is very true. This is very correct. But we need to always be dynamic and change our investment asset class and diversify out, so that you don't caught between something that, you know, stagnant out there. And one thing that you asked just now about, should we take profit when there is a 10% return? I think 10% for me is quite low. But depends on your life stages, because if let's say you are at the stage 3, 10% is something good for you, you should take profit. But if let's say you are in your early stage, 10% for me is very low. So I cannot give you a correct exact answer, because I don't know which stage you are in. All right. So follow back to my 4 pillars of life stages of wealth creation and your life stages and look at it. Right. I hope I answer your questions.
All right, let's do one last question before we conclude the session. So, this is by Ben Lee. Which investment type is the most rewarding, considering the risk, right? Is it stock market, properties, currency, or Bitcoin?
Okay, thank you, Ben, for asking this question. I have to say sorry for you, to you, Ben. My answer next might be something that you don't like. Okay. But I want to say the most rewarding investment with reasonable risk is something that you are best at it. So I cannot tell you is it stock market, properties, currency, or Bitcoin, because I don't know what investment you are really good at. Why I say so? Because you remember you asked me about most rewarding. Okay, most rewarding and very important, reasonable risk. Now I always talk about this. How are we going to manage our risk is by gaining a lot of experience with skill sets, how to do it. All right, then you can mitigate your risk because you really know how to invest in it, right? And when you really know how to invest into that particular asset class, it is always something that you are also good at generating the income from it. So for me, whether it is stock market, properties, currency, or cryptocurrencies, the most suitable or most rewarding with reasonable risk investment type is always something that you are good at. If you don't have any, you know, you don't have anything that you are really good at, find something that you find it, oh, is something that I might like it, okay, or something that you think, oh, a lot of people, they are actually generating a good decent return from it. You might want to learn it, okay, learn it, put in some practical experience, go and invest in it, gain some experience. You will make some mistake along the way, don't worry, just make the mistake because you will learn from it. Okay, after that, you know, oh, this is not the right way, I need to treat a bit of my investment strategies and whatnot, do that, and then that will become the investment type that is most rewarding and with reasonable risk for you. I hope I answered this correctly to you, and this is my honest answer to you, because I don't really have one for all. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, George, for sharing with us about this topic. So now I guess many of us here will have had a better idea of how we can plan our financials. All right. So we can learn how to create wealth using the 4 pillars that George shared with us, and what should we prepare to, you know, meet our financial goals at different life stage. So thank you so much, George, for sharing with us. So ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the co-founder of EECameron, who is Mr. George Po.